to Mathias, all you.
Okay. So, raise of hands, how many know this guy?
George Washington.
Oh. How many of you know him?
Alexander Hamilton.
That's the problem. This is Benedict Arnold, the greatest hero of the American Revolution, yet no one knows his name because he was considered a traitor. So this is the truth about Benedict Arnold. So in Quebec, Britain had control of Canada, which America thought that was unnecessary, and they wanted to seize control of it. So they went to invade Canada. And Benedict Arnold was a part of that. He was a leader of his own little battalion type of, like...
Battalion.
Thank you. And so the harsh conditions made it to where he lost a lot of troops. Like, many had died along the way. Many had just left, taking supplies with them to go home. And yet, he was still one of the last to leave. He was still giving orders to the few men he had left, trying his hardest to take Quebec. And he actually took a bullet to the leg at Quebec, and yet he still stayed, giving orders even when he was wounded. Despite, being the last to leave, taking a bullet, he was given no promotions whatsoever. Actually, many other generals were given promotions during this except him, and actually being made fun of because of how he was crippled from the bullet. And then he was taken to court. This was during the summer of 1776, so a couple months after Quebec. He was taken to court multiple times because of the ransacking of stores that happened of his battalion, like how they ransacked stores as they were going through. He was taken to court because of that. So he was sued and given no promotion. So he stayed at the same level he was at the entire time. He was the only volunteer to take on Fort Schuyler. He was the only volunteer to lead that. He had less than 1,000 troops to go take one of the British forts. He actually made them think that he had thousands coming, so when he showed up, the fort was completely abandoned. The British gave up the fort because they
How did he make him think there was thousands coming?
I had no idea. He's a genius. So he faked them out by thinking thousands were coming, when in fact he had less than 1,000 troops, and he still managed to take the fort because they just completely abandoned it. They were so scared. Now, this was near the end of the American Revolution, as it was coming down to the end. He correctly predicted Britain sailing down Lake Champlain. And Britain had one of the top navies. Like, they had the top, like, that's what made them a world power, is that they had such a big navy. America had none. We had no navy whatsoever during the American Revolution. He actually built several boats, predicting where they'd sail, and met them on Lake Champlain. He stalled them long enough to where they had to go back to Canada for even more supplies because they completely ran out, trying to take down a ragtag team of ships that they just built.
Okay, now I want it straight up from Sir. I'm going to go then. Where's the misconception from?
Misconception is that because he received no promotions, no raises, Britain actually saw how well he was and offered him money and a top general spot in their army and navy to control his own and basically win them the American Revolution. And all he had to do was give up a fort, and as he was doing that, because all he was made fun of by America. He was given no promotions, even though he had actually won significantly more battles than George Washington. Significantly more. He was given no promotions. And Britain decided that they wanted him, so they offered him a lot of money. And as he was trying to make the move, a spy caught a letter between him and the Queen. So he was caught, but he still managed to go over to Britain, but he wasn't able to actually.
But technically, didn't he go back to the other side?
Yes, technically he did.
Okay, so would you consider that as a traitor?
No, because the way America had him, how they treated him like crap, even though he was
But
one
he
of their
chose
best
that
generals.
side. That's what I understand. Because it'd be like me getting treated like crap here at Shepherd, So I decided to go to that school down south. Would I be considered a traitor?
No, because
Oh.
you're doing what's best for you. If they don't,
So you're not considered a traitor if you do
if
what's
they don't
best for you?
support you or like value, what's the word?
While you're thinking about it, where did you and Mr. Halliwell knock heads on this?
He basically just went off on how he was a traitor.
Yeah.
Huge, like, for like an entire week on the American Revolution, all it was he's a traitor, and we got to discover why he's a traitor.
Okay.
And me and my friend AJ just defended the crap out
But
of him.
let me ask you this one though. If you take, let's look at, you're familiar with Penn State, Joe Paterno?
No, not really.
Okay, great coach, tons of thousands, wanted millions of dollars at the university, successful football program, did everything. But the Jerry Sandusky scandal, where he was molesting kids on the campus, bringing them in, that kind of thing. Joe Pa supposedly knew about it. That one spot tarnished him, where he should have taken care of it, handled it, reported it, done that. There's where the memory's tainted. Can't you just see the fact that, yeah, Benedict Arnold did all these great things, but he went to the other side. I'm not going to call him the T word, but he went to the other side, so that's what people remember.
Well, that's the problem. Though.
What's
They
that tell you
need to
about
know.
society today? Do everything great for 99% of your life, screw up one time?
That's the problem. You need to know the whole story, because he was a hero up until where they treated him like crap, where they didn't want him. They didn't, no promotions, no anything. They just didn't care about him enough.
So that makes it okay to,
They forced his
Betray-
hand. Yes. They forced his hand.
but so you're trying to justify his actions because of what they did. So it's like you being a kid, you're my kid. You didn't give me any allowance. You yell at me all the time to clean up my room. You yell at me to pick up the dog poop. So I stole the car to go out with my friends.
Well, that's okay.
You're justifying the things that were done to you to justify your actions why you did this. And it was a negative way. Shouldn't have stolen the car. He shouldn't have betrayed his country and traded. Best thing I could have seen was double agent. Hey, the Queen wants me to go over. What could I do to screw them over and still work for America? What would he have done then? Would he be a monster hero?
No, they didn't listen to him at all. He tried telling them multiple times. He actually, the sailing down Lake Champlain, I believe, that was on his own. Like, they didn't tell him to go there. They didn't tell him anything. They didn't care. They sent him to his own little spot and just left him be
Okay.
because they didn't care about him. So he correctly predicted where they would go and did it on his own.
Gotcha. Dude, you know it well. I'm learning. I never saw both sides of this before. I mean, I learned. That's what the information speaks about, teaching. So, anybody else got anything else? Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done.